All our sports lovers, we would not let you go this weekend without having to bring you the Afcon and Nigeria qualifying for it. Well, in the studio with us, we have Mr. Bamikole Owoyomi. He is the General Manager of Urban Radio and a sports analyst. Amazing to have you with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, I know Nigeria has qualified, but please tell me, I want to hear your take on our journey so far.
For the African Cup of Nations, I think I'm fairly all right, especially for the home matches. And with the number of points that we were able to get up to now, I think it should be 11 points.
Yes, 11 actually.
Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yes.
I think we are also a bit lucky with what happened in Libya. We were able to get 30 points in that game, which we might not have been able to get because we've not performed well away from Nigeria. We haven't performed away from home. And you also look at the match we played against Benin Republic. A testament to that, because we drew 1-1. We had to come back from a goal down to be able to get a win in that, to get a draw in that game. And this in Benin Republic defeated us 2-1 for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, which we'll still have to get to that because we need to win the next 6 games if we're going to stand a chance. And when I'm saying a chance, it also depends on the performance of other teams like South Africa. You know, so I think Libya did us a good favor, giving us 30 points by misbehaving at home. 3 points, 3 goals, and beating Rwanda. I think it was Rwanda
yes,
we defeated.
We did beat
1-0.
Yes.
So with that, I think.
But
it's good.
you said fairly. So how would you rate our performance so far? I mean, we had Osimhen, we had Lukman, but how would you
I
rate?
said fairly.
Yes.
Now, the last game that we played was against Libya.
Yes.
We scored just 1 goal in that game. Osimhen wasn't on ground. We had Ademola Lukman, and apart from the fact that the African Cup of Nations, we've not been using the VAR. You know, 2 of Lukman's goal was discredited, which we had VAR. At some point, maybe would have been given to him 2 of those goals because of his impact currently. So I said fairly because we defeated Benin Republic 3-0. Now, we played against them just 2 days ago. We couldn't win that game. Now we played against Libya. We scored just 1 goal. You get. So against Benin Republic, we claimed 4 points. But being the giant of Africa, being Osimhen was 9th best in the world last year. Lukman is 14th.
Yes.
Osimhen is banging goals week in, week out in Turkey for Galatasaray. Lukman is doing well for Atalanta. You know, we are also tipping him for African Footballer of the Year, the next. And the sweet thing is, we are going to have back-to-back. If he wins in December, we're going to have back-to-back African Footballer of the Year for the Super Eagles. And we didn't have that for a very long time, especially until Osimhen came into the scene, which I feel that we should be able to claim it again next season if he puts up massive performance for Galatasaray. If he stays back, then get to move in January and wins the league with them, and let's look at the impact in the Europa Cup, maybe we could win it again. But, so I feel that Libya, we defeated them 1-0. They didn't get a chance to play against us, and I feel that with our current form, we might not be able to beat them. Now we're going to play against Rwanda at home at the Godzilla Pavio Stadium. You know, I think we should be able to get a win in that game or not. It's a dead rubber game. Most Nigerian players, most footballers now, because of the number of games that they are playing and those that are still going to play for their different clubs, they don't put in 100%. You notice the Harry Kane was complaining that 8 of England's players, I think what he said was, it should be England before club.
Yes.
Because they need to also move up a tier for the Euro Nations League that they are playing. You know, they played against Greece, they won 3-0. So I think for the Super Eagles, not to, you know, they've not been very impressive with the quality that they have. They've not been. We are not strong defensively. The last time that I saw a structure that was superb defensively was the African Cup of Nations, because no one thought we'd get to the final of that game. But we had a strong defense. We had William Troost-Ekong, we had Kevin Bassey. There's always an error for Kevin Bassey anytime, Fulham or Nigeria. You know, we had that structure that was really strong, but Zepercero was the one that made it work that way, you know. But apart from that, look at the goal Mad Kalkwe conceded. against Benin Republic. Let's say because the losses that, let's assume that he knew that is that a demise of his dad before that particular match. But I feel that the attacking presence that we have should deliver us more results. Away from home, we should be a force to reckon with. Away from home, you know, football is a team game.
Yes.
Now, individual brilliance can only get you far. When it comes to tournament games, you need to work together as a team. That was how we saw the dominance of Spain at the last Euros. Spain, hardly can you pick out a super player.
Yes,
you
but
know,
they work as a team.
They work as a team. Morata led the team.
I'm thinking when it comes to team play, it's different dynamics that come to play. And you've picked out some players within the Nigerian team that are doing really well, but as a team, I think you've actually described them as average, if I'm not quoting you out of context. So my question to you now will be, what should be done differently, maybe in terms of formation, in terms of how they are managed, and how do you see them performing, you know, going forward after now? So 2 questions. What should they do differently?
First of all,
and what should we expect from them going forward?
It's difficult to project for them. They don't have a coach.
Junior was about asking if we have much more of a coach.
They have an interim coach that we know that is good, and Augustine Eguavoin is boosting his knowledge with different trainings all around the world. Is good, no doubt about that. But there's a different vibe when you know you're going to be in a club, in a country for the next 3, 4, 5 years. You're able to project and grow. It gives you vision. Gareth Southgate was in charge of England for a very long time. Although he didn't get to win the ultimate title for them, the Euros, on 2 occasions, got to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup once, but they didn't have that kind of run for a very long time. I think since 1966 or thereabouts, you know. So saying going forward, it's hard to project for the Super Eagles because they don't have a coach. Now they're looking for sponsorship, Dangotes to, you know, to have a public-private partnership so that they can pay coaches or include the fee for the coaches and the constitution and the budget for next year. So we can't talk about a coach or projection for the Super Eagles when they don't know is going to be in charge in the next 2 months. Now look at what happened after the African Cup of Nations. A bit of stability with Persero because we know he's defensively minded. He got us a little bit far. He affected some creative players at the African Cup of Nations. Alex Iwobi, for example. If you watch Iwobi week in, week out in Fulham, you will love him.
Yes.
Fisayo Delibashiru with Lazio, you will enjoy his football. Samuel Chukwueze, Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, you know. But his structure at the African Cup of Nations was a back 3. You get it helped us to some extent, but it weakened our attack against Cote d'Ivoire. They didn't stand a chance normally. They struggled to qualify out of the African Cup of Nations, you know, the group stage. They struggled, but they won the tournament eventually. So I think that it's going to be very difficult to project because they don't know their next coach. Now, they brought in Finidi George. Finidi George lost against Benin Republic, drew against South Africa at home. Now, when they play the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, they missed some key players like William Ekong is a force to reckon with. In fact, he's one of the top scorers as a defender in Africa for the African Cup of Nations. You know, he's huge. It wasn't there. We had Onyemaechi was also not there. The experience that comes from Omero was also not there against South Africa and also against Benin Republic, and they defeated us. Finidi George came, left. Now you brought back Augustine Eguavoin. Now we've qualified for the African Cup of Nations. Are we good enough to win in Wednesday? You can't tell.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the debacle with the German foreign coach. Do you think that had a direct or indirect impact on what's happening now with the team?
The German coach coming in or not? You mean Genotra?
Yes, yes.
Genotra was able to stabilize the Super Eagles. Now we went to 2 African Cup of Nations under him, if I'm right. And yes, we went to 2. Then we went to the FIFA World Cup. We qualified well.
Actually.
Iwobi scored against Zambia. That took us to the FIFA World Cup. He understands the dynamics of the Super Eagles. He knows how they play. You get
a foreign coach understands.
yes. Now there are foreign coaches that they do their business in Africa. You get so he was part of the Super Eagles. Now you know some players they brought in. He brought in Victor Osimhen for Odion. That was in the third place game against Tunisia at the African Cup of Nations in 2019. Odion was the leading striker for the Super Eagles. We couldn't beat Algeria. That free kick that we considered, you will remember, we had a different keeper then. But integration of Victor Osimhen was through, what's his name, Genotroa.
Yes.
And he played against Tunisia, which we won them eventually. You know, so he knows some of these boys. They are still in communication. But I don't think they affected the Super Eagles. I felt that football is crazy. What happens outside the pitch is more important than what happens on the pitch. In fact, I can't tell. You know, when they considered the first goal, in my mind I was like, oh, what happened? Was there a conversation? Because Benin Republic wants to qualify also. Genotra is in conversation with these boys. It's very easy to have. You know what I'm talking about. Yes. But then they've qualified. There's no reason why they would need to win the game. You get? They will not play at 100%. Now, after the African Cup of Nations, I think 2 or 3 months, we found out that most of these players played with injury. Olaina complained. The captain of the side, then Trust Ekong, also played with injury. We knew that at that tournament, Victor Osimhen went to the tournament with an injury. You know, he's got only 1 goal in that, you know. So there is that tendency to want to just relax against Benin Republic, but not lose. We missed a lot of chances also. So I just feel that there might have been conversations. They might just be relaxed. You understand, against Benin Republic. But going forward, for your second question, we need a strong team to win 6 games
straight
if you want to go to the World Cup. Osimhen has never been to the World Cup, and this is his prime year.
Yes, if you get it to win for him.
Ademola Lookman needs to go to the World Cup. Alex Iwobi is playing consistent football right now. He needs to taste action at the World Cup. So if they are ready, if they're determined, sometimes you don't rely on the coach's impact. Now, after the Euros finals, Spain and England, I was listening to some of their pundits, you know, ESPN and also Sky Sports, that, okay, if Gareth Southgate is saying stick to this particular thing, as a Jude Bellingham, a Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, you can walk outside the box. You are leaders, different clubs, and make something happen for yourself, you know. But then that's the difference. When you're a team, you have a strategy. Once you have individual players, you know, it can take you far, but it's the teamwork that will win you the title. Remember when Greece won the Euros? They didn't play, they did not super player.
Even to the television, they haven't started playing.
That's it.
Okay, but now there's this school of thoughts that we need an African or a Nigerian coach, you know, to be able to take us to where we're supposed to be.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have people who say, no, let's get a foreign coach and bring the foreign coach to, you know, do this work for us. What's your take on this? What's your reaction on this?
It's two-ended.
Okay.
The last coach that won the Afcon for us was late Stephen Keshi. A mixture of MPFL players, I mean, the local boys, and some very dedicated international players. And we were able to win it. Now, when it comes to a team, yeah, if they feel that they can do it, apart from the influence of the coach, currently, local coaches that we have around, who do you want to mention? Augustine Eguavoin, Samson Siasia. You know, some people are saying he should be back, but then he failed to qualify us for Afcon, I think on 2 occasions, or once, I think once. And they also look at Sunday Olise. He's still much interested. He's a Nigerian. He's well read also. He holds a FIFA position. I know he's still much interested, you know, because I saw an interview recently, but maybe we respect a foreign coach more. Nigerians, the way we see things, down to the desk, down to if we are having a dinner, the way we respect the white is different from the way we see our people. Now, you're willing to pay Genotral $50,000 per month. Well, you offer Austin Eguavoen interim capacity. I don't know how much they're paying him right now. I don't even know if it's being paid. So it's a bit different, yeah. England went to get a German coach, my friend. and ex-players are complaining. The job that you don't want to take as a German is an England job. We know about the rivalry, the socio-political rivalry, even then, currently in football.
Yes.
But you took when I saw the story. So, but back to you to answer your question. Yeah,
Yes.
I really don't know if we should stick with the local coach,
Go with the flow.
and if the local coach will have the integrity to manage the Super Eagles. If there won't be some veto power upstairs that will control who should be in the team or not. A lot happens when it comes to football. Don't also forget that there was a time late Sven-Goran Eriksson wanted to take the Super Eagles job.
Actually.
I'm sure you saw that
Yes,
story,
I saw
and
that as well.
the conditions for him to take it.
Well, thank you very much. Honestly, I wish we had more time. We would have gone further because I like how you explain, sports makes it sound so interesting.
Thank you.
Of course, that's why you're a sport analyst. So thank you very
Thank you,
much,
Bamikole.
Recording in progress.
Owoyomi.
Owoyomi. Forgive my French. And I'm Yoruba.
If you're Yoruba and you couldn't get to pronounce it correctly, imagine what I would have done.
Well, thank you
Thank you,
once more.
Bamikole.
This is the much we can take on this conversation and new day from the Enugu studio. My name is still Joshua Oritogun.
And I'm Chigichi Agoram.
And we're saying stay tuned, not goodbye, because Abuja Studio starts right now.